For your homemade lasagna, have some homemade tomato sauce, some beef mince, some lasagna and some grated cheese. And if you want to add some cheese sauce to your lasagna, which we'll show you, then also have about 50 grams of butter and some double cream to make a cheese sauce. First of all, put your frying pot on the stove and add some olive oil. Of course, also preheat your oven, gas mark 6 or 200 degrees Celsius. Just let the oil heat up a little bit and then start adding your mince. Just do that bit by bit. Break up the mince and just give it a little stir. And add some seasoning, some salt, some pepper. Just keep moving the mince about while it's browning off so that it stays in these small bits. Once your mince is completely cooked, you can start adding some tomato sauce to it. Just add spoonfuls, stir them in, just so you get a good feel for what kind of sauce you're making. Ours came out a little bit orange because we used quite a bit of carrot in the actual sauce. If you want it to look a little bit more red, just add a little bit of tomato puree and that will just lift the colour a little bit. But it also tastes fantastic when it's a little bit orange. But this is what your sauce should look like, more or less. And that's actually ready to go now. If you do want to also have some cheese sauce on the top of your lasagna, we'll show you a very easy way to make some. Instead of making bechamel sauce, which is quite labour intensive and also can be a little bit heavy, just melt your butter in a wee saucepan. That's about 50 grams of butter there. Once that melted, and you don't want it to brown, so be careful with adding too much heat. But once it's melted, you add your double cream or any cream replacing product if you want it a little bit less heavy, and just stir that in. You'll see they'll mix together pretty nicely, and then you start adding a little bit of grated cheese at a time. Just small little handfuls that you then stir in. You might want to put the heat down a little bit because otherwise it might get a little bit sticky and it might start to boil a little bit. So we're using cheddar, so our sauce will pretty much look like custard by the end of when it's done. Obviously when you use another cheese it might not colour as much, but it will still have roughly that consistency. Right. By then you're all ready to start building your lasagna. Just put a little bit of olive oil on your oven dish, just along the sides, in the wee corners and everything. And then just start layering everything up. Start with a bit of sauce. And again, make sure that you get the corners and all the sides. And just put your lasagna in. Now you might need to break some of the lasagna just to make it fit. You don't want to pile them up too much. You want to more or less have one single layer. And then just add more sauce, and just keep on doing that until you're out of sauce or out of oven dish, whichever comes first. Just add layer of sauce and then a layer of pasta. And for your last layer, instead of using your tomato sauce, you will use your cheese sauce. Just give that a little stir. And then just get a nice layer on top. You want to make sure that this layer covers all of your pasta. If it doesn't, what happens is that the pasta dries out and just becomes really hard and very crunchy, which is not what you're after in a lasagna. Then once you've put that on, just add some grated cheese. And again, make sure that you get all the sides and corners, and then it should look roughly this way. We used a mixture of cheddar and Edam actually, and slide that in the middle of the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. Check the pack for it. It does differ from one brand of lasagna to the next. Then after about 30 to 35 minutes, that's your lasagna done. And again, serve it with a little bit of salad or something like that, and it looks absolutely perfect, and it is also very tasty.